There's a family-run restaurant in San Francisco that is going to shutter today permanently after they have settled a discrimination lawsuit over their ladies' night promotions. Yes, that's right. They got sued for discrimination because they had ladies' nights. Now, we're going to ask you to weigh in on this, so definitely do so. But first, let me give you all the details so you know what we're dealing with here. So during Lima's Ladies' Night, drinks and wine were half priced for women for 3 hours every week. That's it. Now, the promotion had been going on for years, but the restaurant says that this year we were sued for discrimination, alleging that all patrons who do not identify as female, including men, non-binary individuals, and transgender men, were required to pay full price for their alcoholic beverages, while patrons who identify as female were given 50% off for their alcoholic beverages. And because of the way California law is written, the owner, Marquez, was basically forced to settle for an undisclosed amount of money. So California's 1959 UNRRA Civil Rights Act says businesses cannot discriminate against religion, race, and gender. In 1985, the state's Supreme Court ruled that Ladies' Day promotions at car washes, restaurants, and nightclubs actually did violate the act. And at least 22 states and the District of Columbia have also passed explicit laws against gender discrimination in public accommodations, which is normally good, except when it's abused, right? When these types of regulations or these laws are abused. So the chef and owner of Lima, his name is John Marquez, says that this lawsuit cost his restaurant tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And so they tried to raise money on GoFundMe, but only raised about $4,353 of its $30,000 goal. And so they just recently announced that they'd be closing permanently after operating for 9 years. Here is the notice that they put up at the restaurant. Now, Marquez and his family believe that they were targeted by people who aren't local and just wanted to take advantage of California's laws. He says it's a frivolous lawsuit that took us down. It's just ambulance chasing lawyers. And this isn't the first ladies' night-esque lawsuit. In fact, earlier this year, in California, of course, the minor league baseball team, Fresno Grizzlies, were sued for a promotion event for women. And across California, San Diego lawyer Alfred Rava filed hundreds of lawsuits against women's organizations and women-only events, from the Grizzlies promotion to female-led startups to Mother's Day freebies, claiming they're unfair to men. So while technically he might be right about the law and how it does apply to these ladies' events, he and others have taken advantage of the fact that a lot of small mom and pop establishments don't even know about this law. So they don't realize that they're doing something that's going to be, that's going to fly in the face of the law. But also keep in mind that I get how expensive it is to fight these lawsuits, which is why a lot of businesses just settle, right? But I really wish that they fight in court, because even though the California Supreme Court ruled in the 80s that these ladies' nights events or women-centric events go against the law, doesn't it really depend on what the intention is, right? Because let's keep it real. If we're talking about a bar, a club, a restaurant, they're not doing ladies' nights and doing discounts for women out of the kindness of their own hearts. They're doing it because they want to attract more women to their establishment. If they do men's nights, no one's going to show up. Like, plenty of men are going to show up at the bars and the clubs and the restaurants. They want more female patronage. And by the way, the men buy the women the drinks. It's nice to get a little discount. But I don't know, maybe people disagree with me. What do you think, Cenk?
Here's what I think. Let him go. Let him go. Let him do the ladies' night. Let him do it. So, look, I'm curious how you guys are going to vote on whether they should make this legal or not. I'm also curious about what MAGA thinks about it these days. Because in the old days when we used to cover stories like this, the right wing would be like, oh yeah, men's rights. Why are women getting these drinks? Okay. But now MAGA seems more like, they don't want to do this, like men, women, blah, blah, blah. Like, or I guess talking about discrimination, that wasn't clear at all. So talking about discrimination, they hate overall. So, and now that you put in non-binary men and or whatever and transgender men, they might flip and go, no, we want ladies' nights back, but I'm not sure. You have a sense?
Yeah, I think that you're unfairly tying this story to MAGA when I don't recall MAGA really weighing in on this at all. It was the men's rights activists who tended to be more right-leaning.
No, they were all right-leaning. Men's rights activists?
Yeah, I mean, yes, they were. But I mean, there could have been some people, some men on the left who were concerned about men's rights, but mostly they were on the right wing, yes. But it was men's rights activists. It wasn't really a MAGA thing.
Yeah. I got you, but those guys were on the right, and I wonder if they're still have that position, right? Put aside the MAGA label, but in terms of the right wing, what do they think about it these days? I don't know. So that's why I'm curious about it. So anyway, for my purposes, guys, look here. I'll use the same example I often use. In this case, it'll be a little bit more comical, but so I talk about Turks because it's a good way of thinking about it, not in terms of white or black or male or female, etc. So in Turkey, Turks are dominant, obviously. The overwhelming majority of the population is Turkish. There's a minority population of Kurds, right? But Turks in Germany are the minority and are often treated poorly as the minority, right? So if you did Kurdish night in Turkey, the Kurds are not going to oppress the Turks. It's not going to be a problem. Let them do whatever they want, is my opinion, right? If you do Turkish night in Germany, that's not a problem. They're a minority. It's not going to harm anyone. It's not meant to harm anyone. If you do German night in Germany, problematic. Okay, you do Turkish night in Turkey, problematic, right? So here, I know men and women are about 50% of the population, but men still have more power. And this isn't about that. It's about going out and having a good time. So look,
they just want to prevent a sausage fest. That's what these lady nights are about.
Like,
let's just
nobody
keep
wants
it real.
a sausage
That's why
fest.
businesses do it.
Yeah, I mean, some do, but.
Oh my God. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, God bless. Do you, boo?
No.
Okay, but for the people who want to go in this direction, just let them go. But see, this is the thing with trial lawyers, right? Best of all worlds and best of times, worst of times kind of thing, right? So you absolutely need trial lawyers because they're the only ones holding corporations accountable now. So when corporations do something wrong, government doesn't do anything about it because the government is totally captured by corporate rule, right? But these lawyers come along and they go, oh, your product is toxic, we're gonna sue you. And they help get it out of the market. And by the way, they're the ones who saved hundreds of thousands of lives with Oxy. They sued the hell out of Purdue Pharma and everyone else and got it off the market. And so they were great on that stuff. But there are some folks in the trial lawyer business who do stuff like this. Get off their ass, man. Let them do ladies' night, for God's sake.
Yeah, look, my biggest issue with this, I don't really care about whether or not we have ladies' nights, okay? Like, it doesn't matter to me that much. So it's not like I have strong feelings about that. What I do have strong feelings about, though, is that a family-owned business has been beaten into the ground over an opportunistic lawyer who has filed literally hundreds of these lawsuits. And so the damage that's been done to this family and their livelihood bothers me far more than anything else. You're talking about a lawyer who's taking advantage of this, like, I think, poorly written law. And if the useless politicians in the California state legislature decided to actually work for once on behalf of the people, they should have a carve out in the law so these businesses don't get targeted with this nonsense.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.